Hello and a very warm welcome to Bharata First. You're watching FRP Explains. I'm Rausan Pereira. Since you're here, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon and share the content as well so that more people get to know about Bharata First. Also, let me remind you about Bharata First Knowledge Center and Learning Center that has been developed to look at all your competitive exams and give you holistic knowledge. Go to kc.bharatafirst.com for more details and have a look at all the courses and the content that we have to offer there. Remember, kc.bharatafirst.com. Alright, I'm here to talk about the infamous Bangalore traffic and a doctor who put his duty before everything else. It's an incident that took place on August 30th but came to light only later on when news organizations got to know about the heroic deed of the doctor. We all know and we've all seen the crazy images from Bangalore city of the flooding that has taken place as a result of the monsoon season in Bangalore, India's IT hub. It's a shame to see how the city has crumbled, the infrastructure has crumbled as a result of the monsoons and the rains, and we call it Silicon City. We also saw an individual put out a video of himself swimming in the living room of his house, a 30 crore rupees house completely flooded, and he was swimming in the living room. Hilarious visuals there coming out of Bangalore. We saw luxury cars floating around as a result of the excessive flooding that we witnessed, especially in the IT areas or the areas in which some of the biggest companies in the world are housed. The loss, one day loss as a result of what happened was to the tune of $28 million. That's how badly the city was affected. Anyways, one of those rain affected days, there was a doctor named Govind Nandakumar from Manipal Hospital who was traveling to the hospital to perform an emergency surgery, and 3 kilometers away from the hospital he got stuck in traffic because of the floods, because of the rains. He could not move any further. He was just 3 kilometers away. It usually takes him 10 minutes to cover that stretch and get to his final destination, but he couldn't get there in time, and because the traffic just wasn't moving. So what did he do? He decided to get on his feet and run those 3 kilometers to the hospital, make it in time because the patient was waiting for the surgery to be completed. He is a gastroenterology surgeon. The surgery was supposed to be a laparoscopic gallbladder emergency removal surgery, and that is what he went there and performed. After going through that ordeal, he did so. Wonderful to see him put duty before everything else. Leave his car on the side of the road, go there. I mean, his driver was present in the car, so he could just abandon the car, let go of the car and run to the hospital and get that done. Unfortunate that in the Silicon City, something like this is happening in 2022. Really, I think the administration needs to buck up. We need to look at ways in which the traffic situation in the city can be improved. Even without the rains, the traffic in Bangalore city is horrific. If you look at self-driving and going abroad, this was something that I was looking up a few years ago when I was taking a family trip to Thailand, and we were contemplating whether to rent a car and to drive in Bangkok. And generally the consensus was, do not for any chance rent a car in Bangkok because the traffic is crazy and you will just not be able to drive. But I decided to anyways rent a car, take up an ILD, International Driving License, IDL, and drive there. And then I realized if you can drive in Bangalore city, you can drive anywhere in the world because it's a breeze. Compared to Bangalore and compared to the traffic that we have in some of our Indian cities, Bangkok comes nowhere close. I mean, that's how bad traffic here is. But yeah, it's something that we should be ashamed of. It's not something that we should be proud of. So even without the rains, the traffic is horrendous and horrific, and it is indeed a nightmare. So something needs to be done. Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari was in Bengaluru city a few days ago, and he had come up with a plan and said that an action plan needs to be drawn up to tackle the city's problems. So he said maybe we could start using sky buses. He said a proposal will be sought out, and hopefully that proposal can be laid at the Chief Minister's table in the next 3 months. So sky buses basically means buses that will run in the air on top of existing roads, because the infrastructure is so poor in the city. There is no space really to actually widen the roads and bring about some kind of relief for the traffic congestion. So there will be a rail kind of a thing on top, and below that is where the sky buses will be moving. So that is one of the ideas that is being mulled. Another idea, of course, is multiple layers of flyovers, where you have at least 3 layers of flyovers, on which 2 layers will be used by the roads and the 3rd layer will be used by the metro rail. Talking about the metro rail, I mean, it's taken decades for the metro to get functional and be operational in Bengaluru. Delhi has a wonderful metro network, more than 350 kilometers, 5th largest metro network in the world. But that is something that has not been able to be replicated in Bengaluru. The work in Bengaluru city goes on at a snail's pace and takes forever really to be completed. And that's another sorry state of affairs. So the transport minister is talking about sky buses, is talking about multiple layers of flyovers and all of that. How long is it going to take though? And how much more damage does the city need to endure till all of these projects are completed? Because the metro is something that has happened in front of us, and we've seen it taking so very long to be completed. So that is another problem and another challenge that really needs to be addressed. It's good to have all these plans. I really hope that they work, but timely delivery of these plans, like many of the projects within our country and many of the projects that we undertake outside of this country, as well as goodwill measures and goodwill gestures, do not garner that kind of goodwill because they are never really completed on time, and we don't get to bear the fruit of that labor and that hard work. I hope all of that changes. I hope that we see some kind of relief as far as Bangalore's traffic is concerned. But the people of Bangalore also are to be blamed at some level, because we've seen that even with the metro coming in and extending to whatever limited extent that it has, the number of people that actually take the metro is not up to the mark. So people need to start taking public transport as well, and it needs to get into our genes, it needs to get into our system that public transport is something that is for the betterment of our own living conditions and for the betterment of our future generations. And that's something that Bangaloreans too need to do, and not just people of Bengaluru, but people from across the country need to take the onus upon themselves to ensure that we pollute lesser, to take public transport and bring about change, because we need to be the change. Only then other things will fall in place. Well, with that, let me know what you think about traffic woes of Bangalore city, whether or not sky buses and multiple layers of flyovers will work, how to get rid of this nightmare called Bangalore traffic. Your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll have a look at it. That's it from me. See you again next time. But before I leave, let me once again remind you to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share the content as well, so that more people get to know about Bharata First. And a reminder about Bharata First Knowledge Center, a learning experience like none other that has been put in place to not just help you in your competitive exams, but make you a better Bharatiya as well. Go to kc.bharatafirst.com. Register today and make use of the amazing content that we have on offer there. See you again next time.